So there are a lot of top influencers on YouTube that have millions of followers and subscribers. And they spend all their time on YouTube, but they refrain from posting their videos onto Facebook. In this video, I will be telling you how this is not the optimal strategy in my opinion, and they're missing out on a lot of shareability and discoverability. In addition to that, I'll explain why they do this, why they have problems with it, and explain on the whole situation. And this can benefit you because even if you don't have millions of subscribers, the same model can be applied to almost the lowest of levels, even if you're just starting out in social media. And it can lead to greater discoverability on both platforms. And these two platforms are two of the top platforms right now in terms of shareability, engagement, eyeballs, everything. We're talking billions of people per month. Now let's get started. So what's the big problem here? First, let's take a look at a few case studies. So there's plenty of YouTube channels with millions of subscribers. There's actually 1,500 currently as of me filming this video, and that number is growing every single day. People are reaching 1 million subscribers on YouTube every single day. Almost a new person enters that club, which is incredible because this used to be like a huge deal. Like a year ago, there was less than 1,000 people in the 1 million subscriber club, and it was this huge phenomenon. Maybe once every few months, someone would hit that goal. And it would be something mind-boggling. Because I remember back in the day, if someone had 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, they were in the big boy club. And they hustled and worked really hard to get there. Now 100,000 subscribers, like almost, tens of thousands of channels have that. And it's nothing to scoff at. It's incredible, And I mean, I used to be on YouTube all the way back when it began, and literally like some of the big superstars back in the day, the big celebrities, everyone knew, and they only had like 100,000 subscribers, and it was much harder to gain subscribers, and everyone knew everyone because it was a much smaller universe. Now it is vast beyond belief. You can't even understand it unless you watch as much YouTube as I do. There's so many different networks and niches and interests, and millions upon millions of views on different channels, from cooking channels to fashion channels to weird, strange channels that don't really make any sense. They're all getting millions of views per day, and it's so vast you can not even comprehend it. Anyhow, the big problem with a lot of these YouTube channels who have this following is that they will not post on Facebook the same videos for two big reasons. The biggest is because they're not getting paid on Facebook. They're making money through YouTube advertisement. These are the ads that play before a video. And they feel that if they post all their full-length videos, their daily content onto Facebook, they're not going to be able to monetize that. And everyone's going to just, hop onto Facebook and be too lazy to go onto YouTube to watch their content. So that's a huge issue. And the second thing is that, they just don't feel they need to, or they're lazy, or they're just not really taking the time to look into things. It's working on YouTube. Why should I even bother to take a look at Facebook? So these are huge issues, and I'm going to explain why these are fallacies, because they're literally missing out on potentially millions of people discovering them if they do it properly. Now, first off, I do have to emphasize that there are a ton of YouTube channels that fall into this category. There are people out there posting daily or weekly content and getting hundreds of thousands of views, if not millions of views, on each of their videos. And they're posting this very, very frequently, and there's a lot of them out there, and they're only doing it on YouTube. Now, is this a great strategy? I don't think so. I think optimally you want to put at least a sizable chunk of your content onto Facebook. Not necessarily all of it, but a sizable chunk. Now, there's a few different strategies that I've seen at play that have been fairly successful. There have been prank channels like FouseyTube who do this sort of stuff. And basically what they do is they will show maybe the first half of their video on Facebook, and then they'll say, go to my YouTube channel to see the whole thing. By doing so, it activates the Facebook audience and gathers them to go over to YouTube. Now, the problem with this though is if it's not enough value in it of itself, it's not going to get enough people off. And depending on how you structure it, it's going to be more about funneling people rather than, getting new people to find out about your content. Because the big truth is that Facebook's shareability is through the roof. It's like ridiculous. You can get like 50,000 shares if you're doing it right. And that is just incredible. So, ideally you want to optimize for people who don't know you at all. So when they see the video, they will be like, wow, this is incredible. This is amazing. And, maybe then you can funnel them off to YouTube. The big thing though is people underestimate the reach of Facebook. Literally, if you just put up good content and you have a sizable audience already, the shareability can put you at a 10-fold or 100-fold increase of people who have reached and been, reached by your content that didn't know about you before. So my suggested strategy is what Jimmy Fallon does. Now, I want to use Jimmy Fallon as a case study because he is blowing up right now. There's a bunch of talk shows and a lot of talk show hosts, but his social media campaign is blowing everyone else out of the water. Wherever I turn, whoever I talk to, they talk about Jimmy Fallon and his lip sync battles and whatever else. And the big reason is because he capitalized very, very well on Facebook, because he knows this golden truth that I'm about to reveal to you. It's not a big secret, but people don't know this or don't realize this. So it technically is a big secret. There are millions of people who love Facebook. They spend all their time on Facebook. When they wake up, they go to Facebook. And they don't go to YouTube. They never go to YouTube. They stay on Facebook. When they open their phones, they open Facebook. They do not open YouTube. And that's the magic of different platforms. You can cater to people who may be interested in your content, but are never there. And don't just take this from me. This isn't just theory. I have literally heard this in real life from tons and tons of people who just casually mention this. They say, oh yeah, I don't really spend any time on YouTube. Like if someone shares a link on Facebook, I'll go there. But I spend a lot of time on Facebook. And that's the truth. And no, not all people are like this. I'm more of a YouTube guy. I go straight to YouTube. But not all people are like this. A tremendous amount find out about stuff on Facebook and they stay on Facebook. And therefore you have to reach those people. So going back to Jimmy Fallon, he has reached tremendous amounts of people by doing this. I also hear this all the time from people just casually mentioning this. I want you to test it out yourself. Go about and ask people. And what I found, what I heard, and this was without zero prodding. This was zero prodding, zero questions asked. Just me casually listening and them intentionally bringing it up themselves casually. I've heard it numerous times. They would say stuff like, oh yeah, I loved that lip sync battle with Jimmy Fallon. And all of these things. And then the biggest amazing part about it is, although there's the same video on YouTube and Facebook, when you ask a majority of them where they found out about this, it is through Facebook. Now, is this a problem that they're not monetizing this by a negligible small amount? Sorry, I said that wrong. Negligible or small amount of ads? No, even if you're not making money off the Facebook video that's playing, that's incredible brand recognition. You're spreading your exposure and awareness up tremendously. You're literally reaching up to 50 million people. Literally, I've seen posts by Jimmy Fallon where that reaches so high. And on top of that, all these people, a good percentage of them, maybe not all of them, but a good percentage of these people who probably would never have thought to go to your YouTube channel or even consider you, some of them, maybe not that day that they watch the videos, maybe in the future, they will check out more of your content in the future or wherever else. And that is just really incredible because you're getting so much discoverability with this. and they will funnel back to your YouTube channel or wherever else you want to send them. So how does Jimmy Fallon do it? How come Jimmy Kimmel isn't doing it as well? Well, if you just look at their Facebook pages, you can tell instantly. But basically what they're doing differently is that Jimmy Fallon and Ellen DeGeneres has really caught the wave as well, and she's starting to do this. And what they're doing is they are releasing their videos, their entire full-length videos onto Facebook. And therefore, it's endless value. From beginning to end, it's value. It's not none of this stuff where it's like a 2-minute sneak preview and then it's like check out our YouTube to see the rest. Now that can work better than doing nothing. Most people, what they do is just post text or photo images, and that's good and fine and dandy. But especially if you're a video guy, if you start adding full-length videos, that value created could funnel back in terms of shareability, in terms of reach, into brand awareness, and you as a viewer going back to their YouTube eventually. Why? Because at the end of the day, currently, Facebook is not a good archive or database system. As a avid lover of Jimmy Fallon and a lot of other YouTube influencers, even if I could see every single video through Facebook, I would still go back to their YouTube. Why? Because if I want to see more and I want to find a specific video, I can go to YouTube and go to their channel and find that specifically and view it and so forth. Currently, Facebook is, it's just very clunky and very weird. It's more of like a, timeline. They release something and then it just like disappears into the flood of the newsfeed. And even if you go to their newsfeed, you just have to keep scrolling down to look for content. And sure, they have like a video database, section where you can search for videos, but it's just not extensive and as great as the YouTube search function. And it's tough to find stuff. On YouTube, you get all of the latest videos, everything right there for you. And if you want to search for a specific celebrity, you can type it in a search function and you'll find it. Facebook's search function, it's still a little clunky. It just doesn't look that great. And the video player and everything else, it's just not as quick to load as YouTube is right now. Will they in the future fix that? Possibly. But right now, most people, the general consensus is they look at Facebook as merely like a news center. And therefore, there's still a great need for people to go to YouTube if they want to learn more about you, more about your content, all that stuff. So what Jimmy Fallon does is he won't release every single one of his videos on Facebook as they come out. He'll have 4 videos a night. However, what he will do is he will release flagship videos, like the most viral content, the ones that spread deep awareness. And he will intersperse those with other Facebook posts, like text posts, like photos, like memes, all these things. And then occasionally one of these big flagship videos, one of their most popular videos, the ones that really just generate the most content and the most brand awareness, things that have sometimes already generated maybe tens of millions of views on YouTube. And a few examples are Christina Aguilera and her pretending to sing like Britney Spears. About a week after that was released, it had over 20 million views. So they realized that this was very viral. They put it on Facebook and it got tremendous exposure and reached millions of people that would have never known about this. So I just think that is an incredible process. And I also disagree with the fact that you can't this whole idea that you can't monetize your Facebook audience. You can. It may not work as well as YouTube does. Currently, big way that they monetize is through they'll post a link about like a product, or they'll post a link about an article and they'll be paid to post that. But I do think for the future, there will be tremendous opportunities. I do think that if you do Facebook right and Facebook starts, changing how it works, there's tremendous potential for the same thing that you do on YouTube to be translated to Facebook, either through ads or through sponsorships, like doing a Facebook only video or post where you talk in the video and you show a product. And even if that doesn't work, you have grown a following much larger than you could have by using Facebook. And I think that is the way to go. And, people are still worried, oh my goodness, I don't want to post all my videos on Facebook. I personally think that you could. I think that you don't need to. You could just post flagship content. But even if you post all your content, I do think that ultimately you will reach the most people and do the most in terms of exposure if you do so. And I guess the very last thing I want to say, and this is also probably very important as well, is that a lot of people are against Facebook and posting on Facebook because they are so mad about people stealing their content. I've seen this in terms of people stealing viral content from big YouTubers' channels. And, some people call it pirating or whatever else, stealing. And the basic idea is that there's maybe millions of videos on YouTube right now, some of them very new, that have gotten, guess what, millions upon millions of views because they're very viral, they're very well made, and some of them have taken months to plan and create because there's entire teams preparing and creating this content. What has happened over the last 1 or 2 years is that ever since Facebook has changed its algorithm and its video shareability functions, video has just blown up on Facebook. And the biggest reason is because they changed how, videos play. They make them autoplay without sound, and then you can click to unmute the sound. And it's just really captured people's attention and allowed people to share videos more on their newsfeed. So here's what people did. Random anonymous people who have their own Facebook pages in unrelated niches, sometimes in related niches, they will literally download and steal the video off of off of YouTube, and they will put it onto Facebook. And then they will get, 20 million, 50 million views on it. And I say views in quotes because Facebook currently counts a view as 3 seconds of a video watch, which is, I don't know if it's the best way of measuring a view. Like, that's not really even a view. A lot of people are against that, especially a lot of marketers. But I personally don't think it's that big a problem because technically YouTube counts a view the same way. As long as you open the video, it's a view. Anyhow, so they get 50 million views and now everyone's pissed off. Everyone's pissed off and they're so mad at Facebook and these freebooters. So they're like, look how great our content is. We reach 50 million people on Facebook, but I will never use Facebook myself because look what happens. You have all these anonymous people stealing our content, putting it onto their own Facebook pages, getting a lot of exposure for their own pages, and they're doing it off our hard-earned work. And sometimes even if we try and, send in a copyright claim, Facebook does nothing because it's just too convoluted a process. And on top of that, Facebook's getting a ton of money for this because they're getting so many more views and exposure and shareability, more eyeballs, and people are staying on Facebook longer and they can run more ads. And they're making more money, so they don't really care about this, and they're very lenient about this copyright as of right now. So they're really pissed off right now. And, I would say it's a narrow way of looking at things. If you look at things in a broader sense, I think this whole concept of it's really arbitrage, which is basically the same thing. It's an economics term applied to commodities, but it can also be applied to information, or in this case, videos, where it's the same exact thing, but in different markets and areas, it can sell at different prices. It's called price arbitrage, and a economics example would be maybe a pair of jeans that sells on this side of town for $10, but sells on that side for $15, and you literally can take those jeans, pretty much buy them here, drive across town, sell them there, and make the difference. It still happens all the time today, and it just shows how there's plenty of inefficiencies in the market. In fact, as of right now, there's a decent amount of people who are still doing this and making quite a bit of money by flipping stuff on eBay and buying it on Craigslist, and vice versa. The same exact product, because there's that arbitrage there. So the same thing happens for videos. Because YouTube has been such a dominant #1 platform right now, it's been very hard to get other exposure. But people have now realized, holy crap, now we have Facebook, and now we have a bunch of eyeballs, maybe 500 million people who have not seen video that is already viral, that is already really, really good. How about I just steal that and put it on Facebook and get all this exposure myself? So therefore, marketers and a lot of influencers, they're really pissed off about this. They're really mad that they're not making money themselves, which I think it's a bit of a selfish thing. But they're really pissed off about this, and they're like, okay, because of that, I am not going to post anything on Facebook. And I think that's not the smartest way of doing it. I think, a much better way of doing it, in my opinion, is to just post your own stuff onto your Facebook. Maybe not all of it, maybe just a decent chunk. Maybe your flagship content, or half your content, or a majority of your content. I would do a majority of my content. And the reason is because, first off, you already have the largest following in the niche that you're in, who likes you for your specific content. And therefore, when you share that stuff, it's going to go viral on its own, because you already have enormous exposure from your own Facebook followers, and it's just going to share and grow, and therefore you will be the first one to hit that level of extreme reach. So it really deters other copycats or anonymous freeloaders from ripping your content and putting it onto their anonymous Facebook pages. Why? Pretty much because if they put it onto their page, they won't get as much exposure when you already have put it onto yours and it's already reached 50 million people. In addition to that, it deters them because they will be like, what's the point? PewDiePie or whoever else, they already put it onto their Facebook page and it's already reached millions of people. And therefore, there's no point in me trying to steal this content. So I just think that's what you should do. And people who are not doing it are missing out on tremendous exposure into the realm of potential millions of people. And in addition to that, they are, missing out on tons and tons of people discovering them and growing their fan base even more. And I would say the last thing about that is to emphasize the differences currently between Facebook and YouTube. Right now, YouTube is a very evergreen, long game content. So someone can post something, and in the first day or week or first year, it may not get a lot of traction, maybe 10,000 views. But it stays there, and because it's highly searchable, it's high, and especially if it's highly searchable and easy to find, people will find that content. And for the next, I would say the shelf life currently is about the next 3 or 5 years, your video will continue to get a decent chunk of views. On Facebook, however, it's definitely not a search engine for your videos. It's more of a news feed, news flash, short-term type business. So the statistics currently show that in the first day and first week of releasing a video, Facebook gets maybe 3 times more exposure and more views than YouTube. Why? Because of shareability and just how it works. The newsfeed function where it just auto plays. There's billions of people on Facebook. They're in connection with all their fans and friends and family, and they already have a decent community of their own of about 100 to 500 to 1,000 friends or people that they know or acquaintances that they can share this video to and gain more exposure. It's already built into the whole platform. And that just leads to even more shareability because any of those 1,000 fans or 1,000 friends could share more, and the cycle repeats. On YouTube, like if you have a YouTube account, most of them it's not built in a way where you can just share it to the world. It's just kind of like there, so it's kind of like dead in a way. So that shareability, it's very different. Like if you want to share a YouTube video, you share it through other social media, not through your own YouTube account, to your own subscribers. And most people on YouTube don't have subscribers. So back to the main point, Facebook, on the initial upsell, it gets a lot more exposure. But in the long run, as of right now, based on how it currently works, which may change in the future, but as how it currently works, in the long run, it runs dead compared to YouTube. It will get a lot more exposure initially, but because it's a news feed type function, the exposure is instantaneous in the initial first few days or weeks, and then it just runs dead. And from there, like that's pretty much it. Like you can't do anything more, and it has no real built-in search engine function like YouTube does. I mean, YouTube's search engine function capabilities are very complex. They have tons and tons of programmers that have spent years perfecting this algorithm, and it's very integrated with Google, the #1 search engine, and it's the #2 search engine. So it has a lot of database and archivability, which will allow it to grow a lot more. So keep that into account. And the basic idea, I mean, you could take a lot of things from that, but there's a lot of implications for that. The biggest one I want to stress is that, you gotta stop worrying that your YouTube channel is gonna like disappear, or you're gonna get less views or less money by, using a bit more Facebook. So that's all I gotta say. If you found this video useful, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And in addition to that, if you want to go further with me, if you have any questions, if you need any help, get into contact with me, and I will see what I can help you with. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later. Peace.